Hello, Elly here from Thankful Flow Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for another YouTube practice. Today we are doing a element Vinyasa flow. So this class is going to be suitable for someone who already has an existing yoga practice, so there will be some more kind of dynamic transitions and things in there, but as always there'll be options, so listen to your body, take the option that feels right for you. So the theme of the flow is connecting to the elements, and particularly looking at the element of ether and space today. So translating this into this practice, maybe thinking about making space within the body, space between the thoughts in our mind, and opening and closing postures, but we will also be connecting with what this means in our practice. So our throat chakra represents our expression, so expressing our truth, expressing our feelings, our thoughts, expressing our creativity into the world. So connecting with that today in this practice, and as always at the end leaving us feeling connected with our body and mind, stretched out, strengthened, and kind of reset, re-energized, and ready for whatever lies ahead of us. So we're going to start in a kneeling position, but if kneeling isn't comfortable for you, please do just come into a comfortable seat. So bring the hands to the knees or the thighs to start with, palms facing down, and we'll close off the eyes. And I want you to bring your awareness to your breath. Perhaps seeing as you breathe in, if you can trace your breath traveling down into the throat area. Notice how this breath feels. And as we come into this practice, allowing the shoulders to soften, allowing the face to relax. Let go of anything that came before this class today. And we're going to take a couple of releasing breaths to start the practice. So we're going to inhale through the nose for 3 counts, and then exhale out through the mouth, and we're going to do this 3 times. And on your exhale, option to make this like a big sigh and just really let go. Think about releasing anything that's no longer needed. So inhale through the nose for 1, 2, 3. Exhale, release. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale, release. Let it all go. And last one, inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale, release the breath. Sigh it out, breathe it out. I'm going to bring the hands together and just rub the palms of the hands together, creating some friction between the hands, creating some warmth, some heat, some energy. And then bring the hands over the eyes. Notice any sensations in the hands or in the face. Setting any intentions, so if you have a sankalpa, an intention you'd like to set for the practice, taking that now, and that could be to do with looking at this element of space, creating space, or it could be about this throat chakra connected in with this, so about expressing your truth, expressing yourself today in your practice. And just removing the hands from over the eyes and gently opening the eyes up now. Start to take some shoulder rolls, moving around in one direction, and then taking it back in the other direction. Then relaxing the arms and the shoulders. Exhale, drop your chin down towards the chest. Allow the back of the neck to open up. Roll your right ear over towards that right shoulder. Option to bring the right hand around and just gently resting that right hand on the left side of the head. And just allowing this left shoulder to relax and soften as much as you can. Release the right hand, draw the chin back down towards the chest and roll the left ear over towards the left shoulder, breathing here. Option to take the left hand around to the right side of the head, pausing here. So really feeling that stretch down the right side of the neck. Stay with your breath. And release the left hand, draw the chin back down towards the chest. Inhale, lift the head. Bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. Open across the heart space. Keep breathing. Release the arms, bring them out in front, interlace the fingers, palms facing in, press the hands out, exhale, drop the head round the spine. See if you can draw the belly button in towards the spine. Stay with your breath. Inhale, lift the head, release the arms, just take a little shake out. You know I love this one, or if you've been doing other flows with me, then you'll know that I love this one. So shake out the hands, the arms, just releasing any stagnant energy. And release. So from here, we're going to come up into a high kneeling position on your mat. And bring the hands to the sacrum, bring the hands to the lower back and squeeze the elbows in towards each other. Inhale, reach the crown of the head upwards, press the hips forwards, engage the glutes and the legs. Take a baby camel. We're not coming into full camel at this point in our practice. So just taking the gaze up towards the ceiling, drawing the elbows in towards each other, pressing the hips forwards, taking a baby camel. Slowly start to release from your camel, lifting the head. Release the hands, and we're going to see if you can gently and softly bring your hands down to the mat. Walk the hands out in front and allow the chest to drop down to find extended puppy pose. Breathing here. Heart sinking down towards the mat. Inhale, draw the belly button in towards the spine to support the spine, walk the hands in and see if with a rounded spine, so dropping the head, drawing the belly in with a rounded spine, if you can curl the body back up to your high kneeling position, lifting the head up last. Roll the shoulders back, hands come back to the lower back. Inhale, grow the spine tall. Exhale, send the gaze up towards the ceiling, press the hips forwards for your camel, baby camel. Not taking it or launching into any full camels today yet, please. Inhale, start to lift the head, releasing. Slowly and gently bring your hands down to the mat, walk the hands back out, softly allowing the chest to melt down for your puppy pose. Reconnect with your breath here. And walk the hands back in. Again, draw the belly in. See if you can start to curl up to your high kneeling position with a rounded spine. Lifting that head up last of all. Well done. So from your high kneeling position, Hands can come to heart center, and see if you can reach your right leg out to the side, so lengthening through the right leg. Right hands on the right thigh, palm facing up. Inhale, reach the left fingertips up, lift and lengthen. Exhale, stretch over to the right. So we're in our gate pose. Feeling that juicy stretch down the left side body. Oh, such a nice one. Really deep stretch. Inhale back to center. Can you bring your hands to heart center and see, have a little bit of fun with it if you can hover that leg and bring it back in. Well done. Bring the left leg out to the left side. Left hands on the left thigh, palm facing up. Inhale, reach the right fingertips up. Exhale, find your stretch. Breathing into the right side of the body. Just thinking about that element of space. So how can I flow in this practice today in a way that's going to create space, mentally, physically? Noticing how the body feels, what space you can feel within your body or around you right now. There's no right or wrong, just observing. Well done. And release from the stretch, hands back into heart center. Maybe seeing if you can take a little hover with that leg and bring it in. Well done. Float your hands down to your mat. So you're in your all fours position. Tuck the toes under. Exhale, lift the hips to the sky. Find your downward facing dog. Take a pedal out through the feet, moving into the backs of the legs. And coming to stillness in your downward facing dog. Inhale, start to step your right foot through between the hands. Reach the fingertips up, find your high lunge. Lifting up and out from the waist. Left arm comes forward, right arm comes back. Find your evolved reverse lunge. Right hands maybe coming to that right thigh, left fingertips reaching up. If that's too much, you can have the hand on the hip. So again, just take the option that feels right in your body, never having to force anything. Taking a rest or a break at any time. This is your practice. I'm guiding you. So then we're going to see if we can float the arms around so that you can open out to your warrior two. See if you can sink down a little bit into that right leg, gaze coming over the right fingertips. Flip the right palm up to face the ceiling. Inhale, lift up and out from the waist. Find your reverse warrior. Option to thread the left arm around the back of the body, maybe the left hand finds the right thigh. No worries if it doesn't. For some of us, that is just not going to work in our body. So just coming back to this sense of expressing your truth and your creativity in your practice today. What's going to be nourishing and helpful for you in your practice. Unraveling from your reverse warrior, powering into the right leg, and again you can step this left leg in a little bit and you can grab a block for your right hand because we're going to find our half moon. I used the wall a little bit there, had the wall to bounce off of. So finding your way into your half moon pose. And either working here in your Ardha Chandrasana or option to bend that left leg. Maybe the left hand finds the left foot. Maybe you can press that foot into the hand. Find a little bit of a quad and hip flexor stretch here. Breathing. So releasing your left leg. Stepping to the side with the left foot. So now we're in a wide leg stance. And we're going to bend through the legs, come down into a Malasana. I bet you weren't expecting a Malasana there in the practice. Reach the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Take any modifications you need in your Malasana. Really opening into that hip space. From your Malasana, bring your hips down to the mat, slide the legs out to a wide leg position. Doesn't matter how wide the legs go. Inhale, reach the crown of the head up to the ceiling. As you exhale, fold forwards, leading with the chest. So try and flex the feet here and keep the femur, the thigh bone, facing up towards the ceiling. Breathing here, just come down to a place that feels right for you. Taking one more breath here. Inhale, start to walk the hands back in. So we've got to make our way back to a plank position now. So you're going to bring your legs back in, take a little shuffle, use your hands, whatever you need to do, come back to Malasana. You could be much higher up in your Malasana, you could be in a seated Malasana. And then we're going to bring the hands around to the front of the mat, take a step back to plank and Vinyasa. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Well done. Coming on to the left side, so you know a little bit more what's coming now. Inhale, step that left foot through between the hands. Reach the fingertips up, lifting up and out from the waist. Right hand comes forward, left arm comes back. You could always work here. Maybe the left hand comes to the right thigh, right arm reaches up for this revolved reverse lunge. I keep saying that like it's a question, just because it's a twisty reverse situation, this position. So unraveling, can you float the arms around and open out to your left side warrior two? Send your gaze over the left fingertips. Flip the left palm up to face the ceiling. Inhale, lift up and out from the waist. Find your reverse warrior. Option to thread the right arm around the back of the body if that feels good for you. Breathing here. Unraveling, powering into the left leg. Can you bring the left hand down to the mat? Find your Ardha Chandrasana. Left hand could be on a block. Maybe you can take your gaze up to the ceiling. Maybe you want to bend into that right leg. Maybe the right hand can find the right foot. You can get a little bit of a hip flexor stretch here. Stretch through the quads. If it is in your practice, seeing how that feels. Staying with your breath, breathing into any wobbles and shakes. If you're wobbling all over the place right now, just know that there's plenty of others who are wobbling and shaking with you. You just can't see them because we're on YouTube. So now taking a step to the side, so we're coming into a feet roughly just slightly further than hip width. Bend into the legs, come down into your Malasana. Reach the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, opening into the hip space, engaging through Mula Bandha, engage the pelvic floor, the muscles at the seat of the pelvis. And lower the hips down, reach the legs out wide. Inhale, lift the crown of the head upwards. Exhale, fold forwards. Could be a little pivot forwards, could be coming all the way down. Just see what feels right for you. Keeping the thighs facing the ceiling. One more breath here. Inhale, start to lift the chest, walk the hands back in. You know what's going to happen. We've got to make our way back, so bring the legs in. Come into your Malasana again. And pivot around, bring the hands down to the mat, step it back to plank. Flow through your Chaturanga, inhaling into upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, bring the right foot through between the hands. Power into a warrior three, so lift the left leg, lift the chest, hands come to heart center. Breathing here. Strong line of energy through the body. From here, we're going to bring the hands down to the mat. Take a big step back with the left foot and lift the right foot away from the mat. Bring your right knee towards the right wrist. Can you find an active pigeon? So the back leg is lifted here. Breathing. Lengthening through the spine. And then using your hands to support you or just coming down, finding your passive pigeon. And either folding forwards here, or you're going to bend in that back leg. Maybe you're working towards a mermaid, so maybe that left hand can find the left foot. Maybe it's coming into the elbow. Maybe you can interlace the hands and find your mermaid. Or take your reverse grip if that's in your practice. Remembering not to force anything, to listen to your body. Breathe into the movements. Take what feels right, what truly feels right for you. Releasing from your mermaid or from your fold. Bring your hands back down to the mat, ground back into the hands, tuck under the back toes, lift the hips, we'll come back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, step the left foot through between the hands, lift the back leg, find your warrior three. Breathing here. Keep pressing back through the heel of the right foot. Hands could come to blocks, there's a nice option here, more support. Bring your hands down to the mat, take a big step back with the right foot, and then we're lifting the left foot, left knee comes to the outside of the left wrist. Active pigeon pose. Breathing here. Breathing into that space, connecting to that element of space and ether. How can I create more space in the body? And lowering the back leg down, using your hands or blocks to support you. Either taking the fold or you're going to bend your back leg in, coming into your mermaid, or you could be working here, just bring that foot into the crease. So getting nice and stretchy into the hips and the legs today, but also used a lot of strength and stability. So our energy center that's connected to the element of ether, our throat chakra, this is all about our communication. This is the center of communication. So thinking perhaps about what is my communication like between my mind and my body? What's my communication of my feelings like? Do I feel like I'm able to speak my truth, to be in my truth? So releasing from your mermaid or from your fold. Bring your hands down to your mat. Power into the back leg, lift the hips to the sky, come back to a downward facing dog. Breathing here for a moment, pressing the mat away with your hands. And then drop your knees down to the mat. Bring the hips down and we're going to come down into a lying position now. So finding a lying position on your back, and we're going to do a finishing sequence connected with this throat area. So option here to either come into legs up the wall pose, or you could take your bridge pose, or you're going to come into your shoulder stand, okay? So if you're coming into your shoulder stand, we're going to lift the hips first into this bridge position, and make sure that you've got your head and your neck nice and straight, chins tucked in towards the chest. And see if maybe from here you can bring the hands to the lower back, and then maybe you can lift the legs upwards, finding your shoulder stand. So again, if shoulder stand's not for you, you're going to take legs up the wall. You could take a lovely restorative bridge. Lots of options there for you. So perhaps watching your belly rise and fall with the breath. From your shoulder stand, option to bring the legs up and over, and you could always bring the legs to a chair or something behind. Maybe they meet the ground behind, coming into plow pose. So spinal flexion, so really feeling that stretch into the back of the neck and the back of the body. And also really sending the gaze inwards here. So the body is sort of curling in on itself. So come back to noticing your breath. Noticing how this feels. Option to now bend the legs and come into your ear pressure pose. So that's where we bring the knees towards the ears and put a bit of a light pressure on the ears with the knees. So thinking about pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses. So again, really turning inwards, closing the throat area. One more breath here. And starting to release from your ear pressure pose. Slowly start to make your way back down to the mat. Bring the spine back down and the legs and the feet back down to the mat. Lengthening through the legs here. If you were in your legs up the wall pose or your restorative bridge, just coming away from that now as well. And finally, we'll come into our Matsyendrasana, our fish pose. So we're going to bring the hands underneath the bottom. So slide the hands underneath, palms facing down. And then we're going to press the forearms into your mat and puff up the chest and let the head drop back. Breathing here. Well done. Start to slide everything back down to the mat. Release the arms from underneath the body. And just come into your lying position, closing the eyes or taking a steady gaze, allowing the spine to settle. Breathing into the belly. And taking a moment to come back to that sankalpa, that intention that you might have set at the beginning of the practice. And just remembering that your voice is valid. Trusting that you can express and communicate your truth to the world. Connecting with the element of space and the ether. Notice not only how the energy feels within your body, but notice how the energy feels surrounding you. Seeing if you can notice any areas in the body where you can feel a sense of space created. Perhaps there feels like there's a little bit more space between your thoughts, within your mind. I want you to gently start to roll over to one side of your mat now. Pausing here. And then gently start to ease your way back up to a comfortable seated position on your mat. To close off the practice, we'll bring the hands to connect with the ground. To honour being in the present moment. Right, bring the eyes back up when you're ready, just coming back into the physical body. Namaste, thank you so much for being here and joining me in that practice. I hope you enjoyed it. Do comment and feedback to me on how you've got on with that flow. And check out the links below to the other things that I offer. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for you being here, and I can't wait to hopefully flow with you again very soon. And do make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. It's completely free. And yeah, thank you so much.